Hello and welcome to another week in our garden. It's afternoon now, so it's good afternoon. We're starting in top greenhouse. I thought this week we'll do a little bit of harvesting, let you see what we're up to picking wise. Now we started in here, you see the cucumbers are behind me, so we'll start by taking the cucumber. There is a large one down here, look. I'll just show you it. Quite a good cucumber there, so we'll take that one. Just go under and cut it off. That's a nice cuke, that is. I'll just put this down for a moment. Now, there are a few tomatoes ready. Now these are sun gold, which are lovely and sweet and small, but they will split if you leave them too long. I noticed that one that is right down there has just got a little split in it. If you get them when it's just split, it's not too bad, but if it's been split a while, you could get some fungus in there, so if it's been split a while you'll have to discard them. I'll just take the one or two that's ready. As you can see, there's plenty coming, but nothing too, there's maybe a couple there. That's the one with the little split in it, look. You always get that with sungon. Another one here. It looks like when I've been cutting the leaves back, I've knocked a couple off there. We haven't picked any yet. I do believe there's another one down there, so we'll take that as well. Only 4. Now this year's tomatoes, when we set the seed, we was getting all that hot and cold weather and rain and all horrible weather. And I found that the stalks of the tomatoes were very thin, and I thought, well, they'll thicken up as they go, but they haven't. If I just show you, look, can you see where that stalk comes out the ground, and it's very narrow, and when it gets to here it's nice and thick. That's the thickness we'd like down there. Now because that is very narrow at the bottom, I don't think the tomatoes will be getting enough water up to keep all the leaves and the tomatoes going. So what I tended to do, I'm taking off a lot of the bottom leaves earlier than normal, and I'm shortening some of the leaves so there's less leaves on. Now if you look at the top, can you see where it starts and it takes a long time to get going? But it does come, but I think it's the lack of moisture coming up that stem. Now I'm at the height I'm at, I'll probably stop all these tomatoes. Now usually I let them go along across. I'm going to stop them at this height and take the tomatoes that we're getting rather than trying to keep them going. The cucumber I'll take around and along there, so we'll get extra cucumbers in that space, but very, very much so. I'll take these tops out because I don't think they'll be able to get the nutrients up that narrow stem. Saying that, the ones that are outdoors in the garden, I've got nice thick stems, but I think they was a week or two behind these, but it doesn't matter. The other thing is, the peppers are coming along nicely, up here anyway. Now the ones in the bottom greenhouse are not this far on. Now because they're not so far on as these, I'm tending to keep all the doors and windows open down there to let the insects in, because I don't think we've got the insects at the bottom to pollinate them, but we'll see. We'll leave this top greenhouse. It's very, very warm and damp in here, so we'll go down the garden and do some harvesting. Now we're down at the broad beans and we're going to harvest them. Now to harvest them, I should just cut the plant off, take the beans and leave the roots in the ground and put the tops on the compost heap. I should use the knife and just cut them off, he says. There you are. And then just take them off. Twist them if you like, cut them. They will come off quite easy now. Now we take them all, big and small. That one's completely empty, so I won't even bother with that one. There you are, and that will make good compost. Now, a good idea is when you put these in your compost heap, is to hit them with a stick to damage these stems, and they rot down even quicker for you. We'll just do this plant and then I'll do the row and show you what we've got. I took the tops out and we've had no problem with black fly at all, which is unusual. And just twist them off. There's one thing about broad beans, you get a dinner out of them and you also get lots of material for your compost heap. So it goes both ways, these do. Right, so I'll finish them and show you what we've got. We're not going to take the lot all in one. It's easier that way than coming back because they will harden up if you leave them too long. There are the broad beans that we've grown this year. It's called Express Eleanor. It was a 3-meter single row to produce that, so I'm quite pleased with that. The space that we've created now, I shall fork it over, perhaps with a little bit of bone meal in it, and then this will go for the winter brassicas. As they become ready, we'll pop them in here. Obviously we'll have to cover them. While I'm here, I'll take 2 of these mini cole cabbages. These mini cole are absolutely brilliant. They're up in no time at all. Alright, they're small but they're absolutely solid. So at the moment they're my favourite cabbage. So just pull it up to harvest it. There you go. Nice little root on them, look. Nice small cabbage. A little bit of slug damage, but I expect that, especially this year with this wet, warm, damp weather. It's there's a lot of slugs. So we'll take that one out. Just break the leaves back and then we'll cut in there to take it. Look, use this knife and through. There it is. Take that off. It's a good solid cabbage and very heavy. We're going to take 2 of those because they are very, very useful for making the coleslaw out of. Make beautiful coleslaw. We'll take this one here, another good one, and then I'll have to do it the same way. Pull it up. As you can see, I haven't weeded this. I've kept the cover on as much as possible, but it still won't stop the slugs. Put the point behind the store and down. That breaks them off. There you go. Take the leaves out. Again. Oop. I never was any good at cricket. So there you are, a good solid cabbage for coleslaw. Once you take these few outers off and cut them, they're very white and very clean inside and tight. That's the mini cole harvested today, but if you can just pop under there, if you can just see these summer collies, they're just turning the leaves. That means that down there, under there, I won't open them up because I might break the leaves. The cauliflower are just be forming now. Again, not a big cauliflower, but a lot of them. Now we'll just take some of these spring onions. As you can see, they're growing well now with all this wet weather, so we'll have to get some lifted. We'll probably lift some out of that row that are a little bit bigger. Using the knife again, not just leaving them back. You don't want the bar. We'll just knock some of the soil off just here, and then we'll wash the rest off at the tank, which makes life a lot easier. It's best to leave the soil on the garden if you can. Now this row here, excuse the weed, these are the leeks that you grow for use the same as you do your spring onions. Now we've never grown them before, so we'll take some and see how we go with them, and then we'll know whether we're going to set some more or not. So we just lift them out. I shall lift quite a few, and then it's now. There you are then, there's these are actually leeks to be used as spring onions in the salads, etc. Quite a distinct difference, and definitely a leek smell. So we'll see how we go on with those, and we'll let you know. If we like them, we'll set some more because they don't take long to come up. While we're here, we'll just take 3 of these snowball turnips. You can see the slugs have been in again. Look. And you don't need them no bigger than that. That's plenty big. But if I get 3 that size-ish, they should be alright. One more then. If we try and take the biggest ones, then the rest will be fine to follow. And I think it's this one here, and that one probably, that one. There you are then. Just nice they are, and they'll grate down into coleslaws, etc. on salads. Beautiful. Little gem lettuce, as you can see, slugs again have annihilated them. But we'll take a couple of the biggest and then skin them back to take all the waste off, and they'll be fine. Now I'm a bit worried with these in this hot weather we're getting now. They'll just run to seed. As you can see, they're beginning to lift a little bit, so I'll take 3. Again, take the root out. There, that's not too bad. Time we take this little bit of holiness off them. And this one, 3. That's 3 of those then. They'll be fine. They'll clean up nicely. And the nice little head in them. Now we've just put a cover on top of this bit of salad crops in here, just to take the strong sun off them a bit, because I noticed 1 or 2 of the leaves are beginning to burn. It does get very, very hot down here. Beetroot plot, and because we've had lots of rain and sunshine, the beetroot has really come on well. So I'm going to take about 7 of the biggest ones this side, which are bolt hardy, so that it gives the rest chance to come up. If they get too big, they'll get too woody, so we'll lift them. There you are then, 7 very good beetroot. I'll put these in the wheelbarrow and we'll take them up and wash them. Now we're at the celery bed now, and I'm just going to lift a couple that we're going to use as young celery. You don't waste as much that way, and they taste absolutely delicious. It says. There you are, there's one. You can see those lovely shoots in there. Beautiful. You could even eat the tops if you wish. Take one more, so we just create a little bit more space for these others. It's always difficult to choose, but the one you choose is the best one you got. So go with that one. Just take some of the soil off in here. And there's another one. I just dropped the knife. There's another one, look. That's good enough. You'll have out of the pair, you'll have a good salad out of those. Now I'm just making sure the cover's on nice and tight because of the celery fly. You know how much damage that can do, and it'll be attracted to those. Now this is the garlic, or what's left of the garlic. It got quite a bit of rust on it. I don't know if it's the weather, but to protect the leeks, which are just across the way there, I cut all the leaves off and burnt them because I don't want them on the garden at all. Now there's an awful lot of the Allium leaf moth, and it's sweeping up the country. I do believe it's in the Midlands now, so that's not far away from us. So I'm going to dig one or two. I have actually dug a row and I haven't seen any yet, but they're hung up drying. So, but I needed to lift some with you to show you whether we've got it or not. Up to now, touch wood, we haven't had any. So let's just dig a couple and have a look. That's got him anyway, he's coming. Let's have a look. I hope we haven't got it. If we've got it, we'll have to lift them all, take out the clothes and freeze them. But let's have a look what's under all this and see what we've got. It's only a case of skinning back and having a look. But you'll see them, there'll be like a brown line going down. Let's just strip him off and have a look. I don't want to get too dirty on my dirty hands. But it looks alright up to now. There's a brown mark or two on them, look. But let's have a look, see what we got. There's nothing there, just twist that off. That's it. Looks clean up to now, but there are some brown marks on it. Let's have a look another layer off and see what we got underneath. Looks like now we'll have to grow the garlic underneath the insect mesh, or in a pot anyway, and then put the mesh over the top. Let's have a look what we got. No, there is a bit of a mark there, look, but I think that's more of a bruise than a... Can't see any in it. Usually they're little brown maggot. Let's lift another one and have a look. With me having some rust on them, all these tops will be burnt, so I keep them separate. I don't know, where shall we go? Let's do this one. You can see how dry it was here, the land's quite cracked. Let's have a look at you. Same again, strip it back and have a look. It's a bit of a messy job. And then we'll leave these to dry, being that there's nothing in them, they'll be fine. I'll just try and clean my hands a little. Usually you can tell there's some markings on the stem, but this has had that much rust on it, I don't know whether you will see it or not. But do get in and have a look, it's worth a look. As I say, if they're alright we can still dry them, perfectly alright. Just strip back. It smells nice. There you go. So that's 2 we've done. I can't see any on it. Believe me, if you've got them you can see them, they're quite bad. But that looks fine. Could take another skin off I think, but that's fine. You normally see them having lines on here where they've burrowed down into the bottom, and then once they get into the cloves, if you try and store them they'll just go rotten. But they look alright. So now if you do have a problem with these allium moths, maggots, and you do find them in there, strip all the top off, take the cloves out off the inner side of them, take the inner cloth out and freeze them, and you'll still get your garlic that way. And as I say, next year I think we better put an insect mesh on them. Now Diane's just been to change a battery, and she's reminded me when she came back to tell you that if you have to take the garlic out and freeze it, to open freeze it on a tray, and then when it's frozen put it in a Ziploc bag and you'll find it easier to use. Right, I'm just opening one of these peas to have a look. As you can see, if I can open it for you, there you are, they're ready. But we only want enough for the weekend. We don't want to pick them all too much, because we won't have time to de-pod them all, especially with the football on. So we'll take enough for the weekend, and then we'll come back next week with you and we'll perhaps have a big pick. So we'll get them picked and just show you what we've picked for now. Okay, now there's enough there for us for what we want this week, and there's loads coming along now. Now these are March 2, so you could actually eat them while they're flat if you want as well, but we prefer them when they've got peas in them rather than the pods. But they're very nice peas. Now this is our harvest for this week. I'll just go through it with you. These are 2 of the little cole cabbages. Very nice, solid as a rock those. There's 3 lettuce there, little gem. They'll do nicely, they'll make a good salad, they will. The celery, this is the green celery, and we pick it young, and as you can see, that's going to be very nice, very tender. Beetroot, I think we got 7, a good size, and Diane will probably bake those in the oven. The turnips, that one there is plenty big enough. That's the size you want to get, and then grate them into your coleslaws and onto your salads. Beautiful. Cucumbers, these are Fem Spot, never fail. Very good cucumber. The broad beans, Eleanor Express, good cropper on heavy land. I'm pleased with those. The peas, there was Monch too, and they are going to be a nice meal this weekend. A few tomatoes, I'm surprised to see they've lasted this long, but and then there's that pulling of the garlic just to make sure it was alright. I'm sure it's going to be alright. This that was skinned back a bit, you just leave it now in the sunshine, let it dry, and it'll be perfectly alright. These are the Guardsman spring onions, again very good on the heavy land. And these are those leeks that you actually have on salads. I will look the name up if they're alright and we set them again. So we'll follow on that one and see how we go. Now that's a nice harvest, and if you can imagine all the tops the chickens have over there, and they're eating all the tops now, so nothing's really wasted. Now that'll be it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. Many thanks for subscribing, we do appreciate it. And next week I think we'll have a look at the soft fruit, which is not quite ready yet, but we'll see next week. So that'll be all for now. Take care everyone. Bye now.